So you don't necessarily think that because maybe there aren't the regular classroom teachers, the regular environment, do you think that that might open things up though more for those things to hit than they would normally?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. What I do know, what I can say, is that our teachers, our permanent teachers, have been able to intervene and prevent some of those things from happening. And their absence may have, you know, negative effects, and the kid didn't have the teacher to go to. That may contribute to it, but that's simply, I'm speculating there, but kids are being kids, and we can't ask them to be anything different because we're working under a work stoppage from their teachers.
Some questions I've heard out, you know, I'm trying to be representative of all kinds of different factions. One of the questions is, why are you going back to the table? Why are you waiting until Sunday to go back to the table? Can you explain that?
Sure. The federal mediator is responsible. It's his responsibility to schedule meetings, and we certainly we're at the mercy of the federal mediator, and our team has made him aware that whenever he calls a meeting, we will be at a moment's notice ready to go back to the table. And he called us, I believe it was yesterday, and asked that we come back to the table at a specific time on Sunday. So that's exactly what we're doing.
You know, for people who have not really drilled down on this, people continually ask us, what are the big sticking points?
Mm-hmm.
Can you spell that out?
Well, I can tell you, the board's objective from the very start in this is we want to make sure to ensure that all of our children in every school building and every classroom in this district has access to an excellent teacher. And we want to make sure that we're able to employ and retain top-notch teachers, teachers who can work with all of our children, teachers who can work in difficult situations in some of our buildings, teachers who can meet kids where they are and take them places that are beyond what the kids think their capabilities are. We want excellent teachers in our classrooms.
And so does that mean that by doing that, is that merit pay has been a big issue here? Is that part of what you think will give you those excellent teachers?
Well, what we're looking for, Luann, is just an opportunity. We're looking for flexibility in this contract to be able to reward, incentivize, thank, and just really leverage our resources to make sure that we are able to keep people who are high impact with our kids. Our kids deserve the best, and that's what we're seeking to provide them in every classroom, in every school building in this district.
Some teachers might ask, why not? Why would the board not agree to limits on classroom sizes?
Luann, again, whenever the teachers want to come to the table and talk about what their issues are, we are looking forward to Sunday sitting down and hashing out the teacher's proposal and what their concerns are, and hearing those out and trying to negotiate with the teachers on Sunday. That's the best we can do. We're looking forward to doing that, and we're hoping that we'll be able to make some headway in reaching a solution to this.
Some people, you know, we haven't had a strike in Central Ohio in since 1989. Some people would say, why Reynoldsburg? Why do we have to be the example? Any observations?
Wow, that's a very good question, Luann. I can't tell you that. It's an unfortunate situation we're in right now. It's not where we want to be. We don't want our teachers outside on picket lines. We want them in classrooms working with our students. And we just need to focus our efforts on how we can return to that business. That's what we're going to focus on.
Some people in the conspiracy theory world would say that you're getting marching orders from the state school superintendent, even the governor, to try to push merit pay. Are people trying to politically control what happens in this district?
I would be speculating, Luann. I can tell you that I am employed by the Reynoldsburg City Schools. I report to a board of 5 members. Reynoldsburg, I've considered my home for many, many years. This is my 3rd time working in this district. My children go to school in this district by choice. I'm committed to this district. My heart belongs in Reynoldsburg, and I'm doing the work that I want to do.
Have you had a conversation with the state school superintendent about any of the issues here?
I have not.
So he's not trying to make you a puppet?
Absolutely not. He couldn't, even if he wanted to, and I think he knows that.
I do think that that's what some people are thinking, that there's somebody bigger than you that's trying to drive this.
Reynoldsburg is my home. I first started working in this district in 1999. Some of the best work I've done in my professional career has been in this district. I'm committed to this community. I'm committed to this school district. I love the way we do things here, and this is where my heart is, and I'm here because I want to be, not because I was sent.
You know, somebody had written me a note saying that these are dark days for Reynoldsburg. I think the community is really feeling this. On one hand, I'm impressed that the community has been so supportive through their signage and that kind of thing, you know, with supporting the teachers. At the same time, you know, it is difficult for the community, and would you agree with that? Is this dark days for Reynoldsburg, or how would you characterize it?
This is certainly not our shining light, our shining moment. We are well, our district is, you know, nationally recognized. We've done some fantastic things in this school district, and it doesn't make us proud to be living in these days right now. So I would agree, this is not the best work that we do. We do our best work with our teachers at the table, with our teachers in the classrooms, and it is important and critical to the Board of Education that we find a way that we can do that and come to an agreement with our teachers that's fair to them, and fair to our taxpayers, and fair most of all to our students.
I have some idea, because I've been in a school setting before, how busy superintendents are. You don't really have any idea until you kind of follow them around and see how they're scheduled. But I sense that some parents and community members are angry because they haven't been able to get in front of you personally. You know, what would you say to that? I mean, you canceled your hours, you know, over the last couple of weeks that you normally have an open door policy, or you plan to do that, and you canceled your hours. Why did you do that?
Well, right now, my focus during a teacher strike is making sure the day-to-day operations take place, preparing for kids, preparing to stabilize buildings and to work with kids who might be emotionally impacted by the fact that their teachers are out of the classroom. That has to be my #1 priority, and I don't apologize for that. I have assigned lots of folks to do as much communication. I myself have done as much communication as I can in a day. I have made calls bright and early in the morning, returned emails. I finish my day making calls and emails, but I'm spending my time in buildings where the kids are, and where the working staff need me, and where kids need familiar faces, and supporting the principals during this, and doing as much conversation and communicating with parents as I possibly can.
Any big misconception that you think people have as you talk with parents and the community that you want to clear up?
Only the fact that this is where the board or I want to be. The Board of Education, neither the Board of Education nor myself wanted our teachers to strike. We did not want our teachers to leave the classroom. The Board of Education offered the teacher leadership team binding interest arbitration. You know, we wanted to find a way to avoid a strike, and we put that on the table. And so the idea that either the Board of Education or I was seeking this is absolutely inaccurate. We can't control the fact that the teachers, they walked out of the classrooms, and that was a decision that was made by them.
Are you under any impression that there are teachers who are not on the picket lines, that are distancing themselves from this process because they're either uncomfortable with, or they don't necessarily agree with the leadership on how to proceed?
I can't speak to that. I have had very little, limited, if any, conversation or access to teachers, so I really couldn't speak to that.
Worst part of this strike for you and for the district, what do you think is the toughest, the biggest challenge?
It's the emotional impact it has on our kids. That's the biggest challenge. That's going to be the biggest hurdle. And that's going to be the first thing we're going to have to do to remedy when our teachers do come back in the classroom, because our kids are going to need us. They need us now. We have called in folks who are willing to come to the rescue of our kids in the absence of their teachers. But our kids are going to need our support, all of our support, when this thing is over.